So hey. So I'm sitting down in my living room and I told you guys that this week I would actually do a video about actually showing you how to plant using a bucket or anything, whether you could plant indoor, outdoor, if you were living in an apartment or anything like that. And I said that I would show you how that all worked, right? And so I actually am. And so what I did is I did a little bit of research and I wanted to come up with the best method, right? So in doing that, I kind of looked at a couple things here. So I kind of wanted to look at a couple things here. So I typically use my buckets, right? Because food grade buckets, right? But then with the buckets, you have to put holes in them. So that will require a drill. And most people do have a drill, but some may not. And then you would also need your soil, and some would say that you put rocks in there. So somebody that posted on my Facebook earlier this week that you should put rocks in them, and I was like, well, I had never really heard of that. And so I wanted to research it. So I looked it up. I researched about it. Why would you do that? And so actually it's not really rocks. It's called perlite. And so the reason why you put perlite mixture in, you mix it in with your soil, is because what it does is it basically provides air pockets so that when you water your soil and when the dirt doesn't compact all together, so the air can move through the soil more loosely, and that way you don't have to get root rot. And I've never had that issue, and I think one of the reasons why I've never had that issue is because one, I never overwater, for one. And then number two, I think it has a lot to do with the type of soil that I also use, because I make my own soil mixture. And I'll tell you guys about that in a little bit. And so after looking at all of that stuff, and I was like, what's going to be the least expensive way that a person could to basically build an indoor garden, and it's easy, efficient, and they don't require all of that work, right? And so my cousin posted on my Facebook earlier this week as well about something called grow bags. And I was like, well, I don't really know much about it, but let me research. So I started Googling, researching, and stuff like that, right? And come to find out, grow bags, actually, for people who don't have big spaces, this is what you want to use. And the reason why is because these grow bags, number one, they're porous. So they're made out of fabric. They're fabric, so they're durable, one. They're made out of fabric, two. They're reusable, three. And they're very porous. So porous means basically air can move through it very easily. So because air can move through it very easily, you don't have to worry about getting the perlite to go through the soil, and you don't have to worry about root rot, because air moves through it so easily that that's not an issue. And they were fairly inexpensive. And so I decided that the best method was for me to show you guys how to grow in a bag. So I have the bag, I have the bucket, and I may do one and one just so that if you can pick your choice or however you want to do it. I'll decide that or whatever, but I wanted to show you what these bags look like. So I'm going to see if I can pull this bag out and show you what it looks like, because they are very nice. They're very nice, very nice. So here's what the bags look like. So this is a 5-gallon bag. And these 5-gallon bags, I got them off of Amazon Prime, okay? 1-day delivery, right? They come with this nice handle, and the material feels nice and durable. It feels almost like that, like that Velcro, but not quite Velcro, that thick material that they use like for winter stuff. It feels almost like that, but it's very durable. And I got these off Amazon, and I got 5 of them. So it's 5 that come in this pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 of them, and I think you get 5 for like $22 or something like that. I think they were $22. 20. I think mine were $22 or $23, right? And then here's the cool thing, y'all. So if you're not a grower and you don't know when to do what, y'all gonna love this, okay? That it comes with this Velcro pocket on the front, right? Hold on. And the Velcro window basically allows you to kind of look in at once the dirt is compacted in to see what your roots are looking like, to see, making sure that it's getting enough air so that you can kind of see and make sure that your stuff is growing like it needs to grow. And so, it got really good reviews on Amazon, and so I'm really excited about using this. And I'm sure that once the dirt is compacted, usually you don't have to worry about it spilling out too much. But the window, I think, is cool, because I was like, well, dang, wouldn't the dirt fall out of this? But apparently, according to them, it does not. I'm guessing because once the dirt is compacted into place, usually dirt tends to stay. Especially, like if you build like a little mud pile or whatever, it tends to stand without doing much moving. So I'm really excited about this. And so this is a great bag for like if you're growing potatoes. So then you don't have to worry about, are my onions ready? Are my potatoes ready? You can just kind of pull up the flap just a little bit, and then you can kind of peep in just like that to see where they are and go from there. So this is really a great, great thing. I think this is a great, great buy, and I'm really excited about using these. And so then I got this kind, and then I got a bigger one together. So when I start mixing my compost together, so my garage is a little bit of a mess because, I've been doing a lot of planting, and as you can see, I got chicken bedding, feeding, all that kind of stuff because we're doing a lot of things. So this is all my chickens. They're doing good. They're over there. They're almost ready to go out into the coop. And so they're big enough now, and it's warm enough now that they're in the garage now. And so I'm excited about that with them. And so in a couple of days from now, they'll be in the coop. You see how they're in there fighting now. So they're getting really, really big. And so they'll be in the coop very, very soon in the next couple of weeks. And so I'm really excited about that. Now, so a little bit about what I like to use. So my favorite mixture and what I like to use for me, I'm just telling you for me, you can use whatever you want to use, but for me, I love cow. I know, y'all. Yes, it stinks. I know. Yes, it smells terrible, okay? But this one doesn't smell as bad. Yes, it is cow poop, but I love cow. Let me tell you why I love cow. Because cow, number one, because it's cow manure. Number two, it's already been composted. So so the first thing I like about it is number one, it's really, really good at helping to produce nitrogen. That's one. And if you're growing plants and vegetables and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you have nitrogen, and it helps with keeping the pH balance. So I really love cow for that. Number two, the one thing that I also love about it is that it helps you maintain the moisture balance in your water. So it kind of helps to make sure you don't have all those issues with like root rot and stuff like that. Okay. So I love cow because of that. And I've never really had any serious issues in terms of cow. And the other thing that I like about cow is because cow comes from cow manure, then the microorganisms and the bacterium that's in the cow is so good for my plants and my soil that I feel like it helps to break down any things that are in the soil that I don't necessarily need, and it helps me to, I guess, maintain a healthy pH and healthy soil levels. So I really, really love using this stuff, and I've been growing for a while now, and I haven't, knock on wood, ever had an unsuccessful growth, and I've always used cow in everything that I use. I think that it may be why I've been so successful. I could just have a green thumb, as they say, but I love cow. I love the mixture. I love cow because so I always mix cow together, and I love peat moss. Peat moss is really, really good for moisture. So we keep peat moss on hand because when we seed our yard, we also use peat moss. So I also got the peat moss for in my yard. So I use peat moss to maintain moisture. It's a good mixture to put, especially if you got raised beds. If you are having issues with knowing how much water to give or water retention or losing soil, I think peat moss is a good mixture to use. So I use that along with my raised bed mixture soil. So I always mix three items together. Every now and again, I will use another soil conditioner from a local nursery here that I really, really like. I don't have any of that on hand, but it is. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on. I get this from a local nursery, and it's called the Master Nursery, and that's right here in off of Atlantic Avenue in Raleigh, and I get that from them. And I like to use their potting soil. So typically, if I don't use the raised bed soil by Miracle Grow, I will use this because this one tends to be more organic. Okay, and I typically like to use this one, but for this year, I've been using this one. I do tend to try to stay more organic. I mean, for the most part, kind of, sort of, but it is what it is. And so I'm using the Miracle Grow this year. We'll see what happens. I guess I've just kind of been lazy, so I haven't used the bumper like I normally use, but I typically like to use this. And I normally mix this, the peat moss, and the cow all together. And like I said, I like to mix those three together, and I haven't had an unsuccessful growth yet. So I really like that. And I mix it in my wheelbarrow over here. As you can see, I already have some in there that I've already mixed together. And so I'll mix some more in a few minutes. And then depending on, I don't put the blood meal in the original run. Depending on what I'm planting, will decide if I'm going to use blood meal or not. So if I am planting anything that's like really green, like spinach or anything like that that requires a lot of nitrogen, I use blood meal and not bone meal. Hold on, I got some blood meal in here somewhere. Hold on, because I got it in here somewhere. Hold on a second, let me find it for you, because I was just using it because I just used blood meal the other day. Here we go. So blood meal is very, very good source of nitrogen. So for most green plants, if you use any type of green plant, or you plant anything green, like anything where there's spinach, lettuce, anything like that, any source of greenery like that, you want to put a little bit of blood meal, but be careful because too much blood meal can burn up your crop. So make sure you read the directions. Same thing with bone meal. Even though they're good sources of nitrogen and calcium, you don't want it to be too much, because if it's too acidic, it'll burn your crop up, and you don't want that. And that's the other reason why I got a pH tester, because I just wanted to kind of show you how it all works and stuff like that, based upon what I know anyway. So I'm going to get it all mixed up, hopefully, and I'll be back in the morning, I guess, to show you how we're going to put it all together. All righty. So good morning. I'm out here, me and my little pooch, my husband away. So typically he drills these holes for me. So I don't really know much about drilling these holes. I got an idea. I did do one hole because I didn't want to make a fool of myself on my live, but I drilled one hole here. So I'm going to keep drilling holes all the way around so that I have enough holes in the bottom of here so that my water can drain out properly, so that I can do a demonstration of planting in the in the buckets and in the grow bags. Okay, so that is currently what I'm doing. So I'm a drill. I have my little drill here. So have my little drill here, y'all. I'm just, holding it here, drilling the hole. There we go. That's hole 2. Oh, my bit that came out. My husband gonna kill me. Yeah, I guess my bit ain't in here tight enough. Hold on. It filters by. So, like I said, he typically is here to do it. So I guess I don't have it tight enough. There we go. So that was hole 2. That's hole 3. And I'm just doing it all the way around. So as you can see, I put a little bit more, a couple extra holes toward the outside so I can have a better equal distribution of drainage. And I did that with a basic drill. So that's what I like to use, a drill. Now, if you don't have a drill, I'm not sure what's the best way to do it. And that's why I was suggesting saying that maybe a grow bag might be better, because the grow bag is already porous, so you won't even have to do this. So at this point, I'm going to start doing my dirt mixture. I have my wheelbarrow here, and I like my dirt mixture, like I told you, like I like to do. So I like to do a mixture of the soil, the raised bed soil, the peat moss, and the cow, which is kind of what I'm doing now. And so I just kind of do an equal distribution of that. I already have some in here, and I'm just going to pour some more because it looks like I have quite a few bags to do. So I'm going to just go ahead and put most of this peat moss, or quite a bit of the peat moss. And then I'm going to get this raised bed soil here. Good looking soil. Good looking soil. And I'm going to go ahead and use the remainder of my organic potting soil that I already had here. Simply because it's open, and we tend to like to use our soil as it's open. And as you can see, this already has the perlite rocks in it. So I don't really have to add perlite to this because it already has the perlite in it. All right. And for the thing that everybody hates the most, which is the cow. Everybody hates cow, but I love the cow. You want to ensure that you got a good crop going, put you some cow in there. It stinks, but I'm telling you, it is worth it. Okay? And my cow. And so, like I said, I got some 10-pound grow bags. Some 10-gallon grow bags. Last night I told you they were 5 pounds, but they're actually 10 pounds. And so that's what I have. And then, so that's one bag of my cow here. And then I just had a little bit of leftover organic composite compost, and I just want to go ahead and get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that in there too, because I don't like for it to just sit around, because I like to use my soil as much as possible, like I said. And you're just gonna mix it around with your hands until you got a good mix going. Now it got warm, so now I gotta take my sweat off because it was cold a minute ago. Woo. And you can use gloves, not use gloves, but because this stuff is kind of thick, I like to use a little bit of, I like to use my gloves for this. All right, this is what we're doing. So we're just gonna mix it up a little bit. And then once I mix it a little bit, I am gonna add just a little bit of water, just a teeny little bit of water, so that it mixes better, I guess, gets a better mixture going. And that's really all I'm gonna do at this point. And then I'll start putting it in my buckets and things like that, and we'll start planting some things. All right, simple. See you in a few minutes. So I'm back, and I have my pH tester in my dirt, and my dirt is definitely alkaline, which is what I want, because if it's too acidic, it won't grow. It'll burn your plants up. Mine is definitely alkaline, and I'm really excited about that. And so I have one bucket here, and I'm gonna start putting the dirt in there. And what you wanna do is, what I like to do is basically I like to put dirt halfway, I guess about halfway through there. However, do there, whatever, depending on whatever I'm planting. I haven't decided what I'm gonna put in this one. Let me think what I wanna put in here. Oh, I actually have some more, I have some sweet potatoes that may be good in here. Because I like to put deep-rooted things in here, so like sweet potatoes. Because over there, all I have is tomatoes. I guess I could put the tomatoes in here. The tomatoes probably would grow pretty good in here. Even though I do like to grow like the sweet potatoes in here because they have such deep roots. So I have some sweet potatoes in here. Now, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to water this dirt just a little bit to get it a little moist so that I can plant well. So as you can see here, I just got a little water here. Just to get it a little bit, you know, because it'll take better. You know, not so wet that it's like ridiculously like wet, but just wet enough that you can, you know, that it's got some moisture. It'll take better. Here. Right like that. Just a little good consistency here. And then get my sweet potatoes. I don't know what I did with them, but I gotta find them. They're over here somewhere. What did I do with my sweet potatoes? Oh, here they are. So, these sweet potatoes, these are what they consider to be high yielding sweet potatoes. I don't know because I don't really grow them. But typically with sweet potatoes or any kind of like thing like that, you just stick them down in the dirt. They just kind of grow on their own. I just stick them down in the dirt, face, you know, just kind of face up. And that's kind of really what all I do in here. But we'll read the directions. Dig a hole. Place a rooted slip in each hole. Roots point down, half bottom. Dirt. Yeah, so that's really all you can do. Is just really put them down in the water like that, like down in there like that. And then you just cover them up with dirt. Kind of like the same way you do potatoes. They'll grow the same. And then I just put a little bit like this. I don't fill it all the way up. I fill it about 3/4 of the way, if you can see, like this. And then I like to go and get my blood meal because potatoes really like blood meal simply because they like a lot of nitrogen and they like phosphorus. So I'll probably put blood and bone on it. And they like both of those items. And so I'll put blood meal. I like to sprinkle a little blood meal on top. Not too much, just a little bit like that. That's what I like to do. And then I water it. And then I just sit it to the side, and that's pretty much how I do my potatoes. Nothing great, nothing overly dramatic with those. And so now we're gonna use the grow bags, and we're going to put tomatoes in the grow bags. So let's go here. Same concept. Like I said, this is a 10-pound bag, so you gotta put quite a bit of dirt in it. get it pretty compact. Now that I got that going. And I have a greenhouse, so and I have basically some stands coming. So basically these will sit on stands and I'll water like that, and so they don't have to be moved. So I have a greenhouse over in the corner right there, and it's kind of like a little makeshift greenhouse. It's kind of set up like a tent, and it has a cover on it, pop top, window, door, that kind of stuff. And then it'll have shelves in there, and it'll sit on the shelf kind of like that, and that's kind of how I'll do mine, like that. And I'll do the tomatoes kind of the same way. And see, this is a 10-pound bag. So what I'm gonna do is, even though this is a 10-pound bag, I'm probably gonna roll this bag down some and do it like that and plant the tomato that way, because these are good, so you can roll them down because it's fabric, which is great, by the way. You can look like this. I just rolled it down. You see how I'm rolling it down now? Rolling it down some more. And then I'll just plant my tomatoes as deep as I can plant them after I put the water in here and moisten the soil. Plant them as deep as I can plant them, and we'll be on our way. So we are done, and I had to clean up the garage a little bit and get things a little bit back straight, as you can see. So I did a little bit of straightening up over here. And here is the finished products outside. So as you can see, everything is in the bags here. So, and as you can see, we have tons of things. So we have the strawberries over here, bell peppers here, you know, my favorite, rosemary. We have red peppers here, squash over here, zucchini mixture. I went ahead and put them in the same thing since they are pretty much of the same family, just a different variation. I'm okay with them crossbreeding. That may not be popular, but I'm okay with it. And then, of course, my tangerine tree, I went ahead and I think that it'll do better in the dirt. So I went ahead and put my tangerine tree in a grow bag as well. And so that's all the things. And then, of course, you know, the sweet potatoes that I planted in the bucket. And then, of course, everything that I already previously planted, which I got kale, which my kale is, of course, just jumping. I have spinach, lettuce, cabbages over there. And then carrots. These are my green onions. As you can see, they're growing out of control. And the reason why I have to grow green onions in between carrots like this is because there are bugs that like to eat the carrots. But if you put any type of onion or any type of spice in between that, then it deters the bugs away, and then they basically don't just smell the carrots, they smell a mixture of things, and it kind of keeps the bugs from eating up your carrot plants. And so far it seems to work. And then of course I have more cabbages over here, and so that's what I'm growing. And then of course I have more, those are bulbed onions, these are green onions, and these are bulbed onions. And then of course I have my potatoes over here in the bucket. So this is the first set of potatoes I've been growing. As you can see, they're growing pretty fast. Y'all see, I think I showed the other day, and it wasn't even, you know, that big, and see how fast it's growing now. And then the other bulb is coming up, so I'll have to pull them up soon and replant some more of those or whatever, just depending on how I'm feeling and what's going on, and just like how much I think we'll need or want or whatever, because we're not big potato eaters. Honestly, I just really grow because I just like growing stuff. And then I'm really most excited about strawberries. I've never ever grown strawberries before. And so this will be my first year, and I have a mixture of strawberries. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works this year, because I've never done it. And I do know that strawberries like to run on a vine. And so that's why I left them in their own bag so that they can run on this vine as wild as they want to run right here together. And as soon as my husband, I guess he gets home, I do have a greenhouse. I'm going to show y'all what that looks like inside here. Come on, Mosa. So I have what they call an eagle peak, which is mostly like a pop-up greenhouse. So basically it's almost like, you know, like the tents that you pop up and you put up like outside, it's like just like that, but the cover goes over the top and it zips down all the way around all the sides. And so I'm gonna put that up in our backyard, and then I also have to get the shelves to go in there. And the reason why I'm opting to do that is because typically when I grow in my backyard, although I am most of the time successful, I do lose a couple of my crops to rabbits because we have an issue with rabbits around here. And I don't like that. And so what I notice is that if we plant in raised beds, or if we plant on shelves, or plant in something other than just the ground, and we plant it higher up, and of course they can't get to it, then we tend to be okay. And so this is, we decided to plant in the raised beds this year, and I actually decided to do a little greenhouse, and I'm going to see how that works out. If that works out, then I may get a different type of greenhouse to potentially be able to grow all year. But I have to look into possible sources of heating in the wintertime, because it can get cold here in some areas at some points. And so I would have to possibly look at possible ways of heating all year round to grow in that greenhouse and to see how well, because I have seen them. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of weighing my options with that, but I want to see how this one works out first, how I like the concept of this one first. And it kind of just gives me my own little space to do what I like to do in terms of like growing. This is really peaceful for me. This is really a stress reliever for me. And so this is why I do it, because it's probably really a big hobby for me. So outside of like sports and stuff like this is what I like to do. I like to be outside growing things, doing things like that. I am really a Southern girl to my heart. I'm really country to my heart. I told you if I could have had a homestead, I probably would have had one by now. And then, of course, so that's where I'm at. And hopefully once we get it all set up, I'll be able to give you a tour of it, of my little greenhouse, once we get it all set up. So I'm hoping that I can put it all together and put the shelves in there. But in the interim, what we'll do is at night, typically we bring the stuff into the garage so that the rabbits and stuff can't eat it. So I'll put it out in the daytime where it gets full sun, or my husband, he'll put it out for me. And so it can get full sun in the day, and then at night we bring it in. So it's the same concept. If you live in an apartment, or if you live in the city where it gets cold at night, you can do the same things. Just put it on a mat so you don't get water or like some type of plastic or whatever, and bring it in the house at night. And when you get full sun in the daytime, as long as it's above freezing or 40 to 50 degrees, your plants will still grow. So sit them outside and do the same thing. You can grow anywhere, so it doesn't matter. Those grow bags are a great concept for small spaces, and you can grow anywhere, whether you live in a big city, in the country, whether you have a lot of space, not a lot of space, whether you it is cold, not cold. So there is no excuse why you cannot grow some of your own stuff. I think it is very necessary in this season, especially when I'm looking around and the issues with the supply chains and stuff like that. I think that it is very important that you try to grow some of your own things, because you don't know how things will go down the road. We can hope and we can pray and believe that we'll always have, but we don't know that. And so it's better to be prepared. And then in the long run, I feel like you will just save a lot of money, because you can buy this stuff and plant one time and possibly feed your family the whole entire summer. So, I think you can save yourself, and especially with inflation prices, you can save yourself tons of money. And so that's just my take on it. But again, this is me just showing you what I know, trying to help whoever I can help. You can use it however you want to use it. And that's just where I'm at. But this is me. Thank you for tuning in to Vlogs with Shalika, where I like to talk about things that I care about, hoping that you care about them as well. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.